I can get us started then. Good morning, everybody. I'll give a brief introduction to the workshop as a whole, and then I think I'm handing over to Marie for the first lesson of this workshop for the Unix shell stuff that'll be covered today. So thanks everybody for being here. My name's Toby. I'm very happy to be here. I've been teaching software carpentry workshops for a few years, and they're always good fun. And it's always really nice to see people learning a lot of new skills that they'll find very helpful in their day-to-day work. And it's great to see so many of you here to join us for that. I've got a few housekeeping notes, I suppose, and some general sort of orientation to go through to help you make the most of the time that we've got together over the next week. The first thing to mention is that because this is a Carpentries workshop, that means that it falls under the Carpentries Code of Conduct, which you may have seen already linked in the from the workshop website, but I'm also dropping into the Zoom chat now. Please take a moment to look through it. It's a relatively long document, but there's a nice short summarized version at the beginning of that web page. Also detailed on that web page are kind of steps that you can follow to report violations of the Code of Conduct and to get in touch with the Carpentries Code of Conduct Committee if you want to discuss anything relating to the Code of Conduct. But I guess very briefly, if we all treat each other respectfully and kind of take care to accept feedback constructively and so on, then I'm sure we won't have any problems. Please try to concentrate on making sure that this is a welcoming and inclusive environment for everybody who's involved in the workshop. The Code of Conduct applies to everybody involved, including me and the other instructors as well. So again, if you feel at any point like that Code of Conduct has been violated, then please do report it, mention it to one of the instructors, either by sending us a private message on Zoom or send us an email. You'll at least find my contact details in the shared notes document that I'm about to tell you about. So on that note, I suppose, let me just copy the URL. I've just created this document, and you can navigate to that page if you'd like to. I'll share my screen for a moment to show you what it looks like. So this is a what's called an Etherpad. It's if you're familiar with Google Docs, it's a little bit like a Google Doc. Everybody who's connected should be able to type into the body of this document. So as I'm writing here, you can type notes in here. At the top right up here, you can enter your name. I'll do that now. And you can click on the little circle if you want to choose a different color for your notes to appear in. So I'm going to choose a nice soft pink color, and you can see all of the stuff that I've written. Let's get rid of the coloring on the stuff at the top. But yeah, so if you want to, you can add your name in at the top right, and you can choose a color for yourself there. And then finally, there is a chat on the right-hand side. Please do not ask questions here. Use the Zoom chat instead. So it's not going to be possible really for us as instructors to watch the chat in that Etherpad. For questions, So if you have questions during the workshop, as I'm sure you will, please do ask them. I guess first of all, that's what I want to say to you. Make sure that you do ask questions. But also, when you do that, it's better if you use the Zoom chat. And I and the other instructors will be able to watch the Zoom chat, and we'll try to answer questions there. Anytime that there's sort of additional information that comes out of those questions, that's going to be important for us to keep, just in case we lose the chat when people leave the call, we'll try to make sure that that information gets transferred into this Etherpad, so you'll be able to refer back to it later. And then the other thing that I really encourage you to use the Etherpad for is for kind of taking notes together as we go through the workshop. So the nice thing about having this sort of collaborative notes document, shared document like this, is that you can all work together on a single set of notes, and that reduces the kind of distraction effect, I suppose, and the burden of responsibility on yourself to try to take notes completely for yourself. If you take your notes into this document instead, you can work together on them, you can improve them, you can fill things out. If one of you misses something, maybe another person catches it and can fill it into this notes document instead. So yeah, I really encourage you to use the Etherpad for that. All right, I'll stop sharing my screen now. I'll go back to that Etherpad soon and pop some other important links in there, to the workshop websites, to the lesson web pages and things like that as well. Okay, what else do I need to tell you? So this is a software carpentry workshop, and the idea of a software carpentry workshop is that we want to teach you kind of fundamental skills for computational research, for kind of working with the command line, the Unix command line, programming with Python, and also version control with Git and GitHub. We hope that by teaching you these skills, you'll be able to leave this workshop able to do your work more effectively, more efficiently, save yourselves time, and also make your work more kind of reproducible, so that you can automate repetitive tasks and avoid mistakes that cost you a lot of time in general, I suppose. So I think it's, well, I'm always excited to run these workshops anyway, because I think these are very useful things for people to learn. A couple of pieces of advice, I suppose, before I hand over to Marie, to help you get the most out of these workshops. The way that a software carpentry workshop gets taught is, at least an online software carpentry workshop like this one, the instructor is going to share their screen, and they'll be displaying something like a terminal interface, or a Jupyter notebook or something like that, maybe their web browser, and they'll be talking through the process of kind of using these skills that you're here to learn, and they'll be doing that live, so sort of live demonstration, teaching by live demonstration. And I hope that for a start, that approach gives you, as the participants in this workshop, a great opportunity to kind of see someone who knows how to use these skills, see how they actually use them in practice. But to get the most out of following a workshop taught this way, the best thing that you can do is follow along step by step with what the instructor is doing. So when they open a terminal, you should also open your terminal, and when they type a command into that terminal, you should type the same command in. And the idea is that we'll go through this kind of process of the instructor typing something out on their screen, or showing you how to do something on their screen, then pausing to give you a moment to also do the same thing before they then run the command and talk through the output, and then move on to the next one. And we kind of repeat that process. And if you kind of put in the energy, I suppose, to follow along with that process while it's being done by the instructor, you'll learn a lot more actively, and it's much more likely that you'll remember how to do these things, and you'll grasp the important concepts while you're here, so that you can still apply them when you leave the workshop. So it is a more active kind of participation that you take in a workshop like this, because you really are trying to follow along with what the instructor's doing. But it's well worth it because it pays you back. It rewards that effort in terms of learning a lot more while you're here. The other piece of advice that I can give you to make the most of this workshop is to ask a lot of questions. If anything is unclear at any point, then please say so. Either raise your hand, or which you can do by clicking the raise hand button in the Zoom chat. Sorry, just a moment. There's someone at my front door. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. One of the hazards of working from home. Here I am. So yeah, ask lots of questions. Tell us if you're stuck with something so that we can help you as much as possible. We try to answer your questions in the Zoom chat, but also you can raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button, which is under reactions in the Zoom interface. Yeah, and as well as the kind of main instructor who's teaching, there will be other members of the instructor team and the workshop hosts and so on who will be here as helpers to watch that Zoom chat and try to help you out to get you unstuck as we go along. Yeah, okay, I think that's probably everything that I need to say at this point. If Marie's here, Aluana, you could please make sure that you've granted co-host access to all of the instructors. And I think we're probably ready to kick off for the first of the lessons that we're going to cover in this workshop, which is an introduction to working in the Unix shell.
Toby, I think I'm struggling to locate Mary and Oma here.
So I know Kautar can't join today, but will be here the rest of the week. Marie, though, was supposed to be teaching the Unix shell. Perhaps she's having difficulty connecting to the call, though.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair.
Well, I suggest maybe we give it a few more minutes, and then if she's still not able to join, I did see her on the call earlier, so I expect she's having some difficulties with connection or something. We should give her a few minutes to see if she's able to join.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, it looks like Marie is here, I think. Alawani, could you grant co-host privileges, please? Thank you very much. Marie, I gave a brief introduction
Good morning,
to the workshop.
Thanks for sharing my screen.
Yeah, great. I'll hand things over to you now for the Unix shell. Thanks for being here. All right. Hi, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Marie seems to be having some connection trouble this morning. She's asked me to kick things off for the Unix shell lesson with the hope that she'll be able to take over once the connection stabilizes. I am very happy to do that, but I do need a moment to get myself set up. So please just bear with us for 2 minutes more of silence, and then I'll be able to start teaching you all. All right, okay, let's do this thing. So thanks for waiting, everybody. We are going to talk today about this thing called the Unix shell. It's a command line computing interface that's been around for a very, very long time. And it's a really powerful tool that can enable the user to perform fairly complex tasks very quickly, and in particular to begin automating a lot of repetitive tasks. Although it takes a bit of practice, I suppose, to get used to this interface, things look and feel a little different from the way that most of us have kind of grown up interacting with computers. Once you have got that practice and you've become familiar with this interface, it can really empower you to do a lot of cool things very quickly. It's also, in a lot of cases, quite kind of necessary to learn this kind of command line computing. If you want to access powerful things like cloud computing resources, for example, or if, like I was, you might be working in areas of scientific research, like I was working in computational biology, and most research software that was being released in computational biology was only available as a kind of command line program, and so it was necessary for me to learn these skills in order to be able to actually perform the research that I wanted to perform for my PhD. And I suspect that may be the case for some of you who are joining the call as well. All right, so I'm going to show you, or Marie and I perhaps are going to show you today, how to move around the file system on your computer through this kind of command line interface, as well as how to run commands on there, how to create files and edit files through the command line interface. Yes,
Tony.
Yeah, go ahead, Alawani, please.
Are you sharing?
No, I'm not sharing my screen yet, but I will be.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
But before we get started with working through the lesson and introducing the command line interface and so on, there's a couple of things that I need to do. The first is to make sure that you've all got the data downloaded for the lesson. So I'm going to put another link into the chat, download the example data. And there's a link there. I'll put this into the I think Cozy, you're not hearing anything. Okay, so let me check then. For those of you who can hear me, can you either type yes into the chat or use the reactions to give a thumbs up or something so that I can see that that people are able to hear me. Okay, that's a sufficient number of yeses and thumbs up that I think I can be confident that the problem is at Cozy's end. So let me reply there, and then okay, I see Jean-Baptiste is responding in the chat. Thanks, Sean. All right, so let me add this link to the Etherpad document. So you shall download the example data. And so let me share my screen. There we are. Zoom in a little bit. To give you a bit of practice typing into this Etherpad document, and for those of you who joined later, perhaps you didn't get that link already. So let me share that again in the chat. Shared document. We'll be sharing links and things like that into this document. You can type into the main interface here. You can add your name if you want to at the top right as well, and click on the little circle to choose a color for the highlighting of the text that you write. What I'd like you to do is, once you've downloaded this example data, please unzip and save the folder, which is called shell lesson data, to your desktop. And once you've downloaded the example data and unzipped it and moved that folder that it creates, saved that folder that it creates to the desktop on your computer, please put a X next to success here, so that I know how you're getting on, and you can put an X next to having trouble if you're having difficulty with downloading the data or saving it to the desktop. It's going to be really important that we have this data for the whole of the rest of the lesson, so I need to make sure that we're ready to get started before we do. So please, yeah, download that zip file, unzip it, save it to your desktop, and then add an X next to success or next to having trouble if you succeed or if you get stuck. Thank you. Okay, so I see a couple of people are having trouble. If you are getting stuck with downloading the data or saving it to your desktop, please give me more information about what the problem is that you're seeing. You can either type into the chat to tell us what's up, or you can request to unmute, I think, to unmute yourself, and then you can tell us over the microphone what the problem is instead. All right, I've reshared the link to the example data in the Zoom chat, and it's also available on line 23 of the Etherpad.
Hello, Jovi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, amazing. So I just wanted to ask, so after downloading the file, which icon do I use to save the file now? I think that's what I'm studying.
That's a good question. I think it depends a little bit on which operating system you're working on your computer. We might be able to give you permission to share your screen, and then I could maybe talk you through the process if you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So if you try sharing screen in Zoom, do you get a message that tells you that you're not allowed to do that?
Let me try that now.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
I need to stop sharing mine, I suppose, because you're probably not allowed while I'm. Yeah, great. Okay, I can see your screen. So I can see the web browser at the moment. I'm just going to share the shared notes link in the Zoom chat again. But what I can't see is your is any interface for saving the file that's been downloaded. So did you?
Okay, so what I did was to click on the link that is sent on the chat box, and it directed me to this web browser.
I see.
So
yeah.
That's watching.
So the one that you want is the .zip at the top of those two downloads. So if you can click on the shell lesson data.zip in the downloads pop-up there.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So open that display and click on shell lesson data.zip. That's right. And then are you only sharing your Firefox window, or are you sharing your whole desktop? Because I don't see anything popping up after you clicked that.
So there's a folder thing on my side after clicking it. I'm not sure if you can see that in my screen.
I'm afraid not. Could you stop sharing your screen, and then when you try sharing again, share your whole desktop rather than only the Firefox window, please?
Can you see my desktop now?
Okay, great. Yeah. So you've got this shell lesson data folder that you're inside at the moment. You need to move that to the desktop. So could you go back one level in your folder structure? Yeah. And if you drag that folder now, it's called shell lesson data, to your desktop. So you should, did that work or no? Okay, could you press back again, please? Okay, and what if you right click on the, oh, I see. I think you might need to click the extract button at the top, the like pink button that says extract. You might need to click that. Yeah, so if you click extract all.
Yeah. And then that. Okay, I've done that.
Okay, now I can't, if that opened up some other interface, I'm afraid I can't see it. I can only see the file browser window that you shared. Okay, great. So can you drag that across to the desktop, or you can click the Move To button at the top. Yeah, so try that. Okay, I think it's there. So if you open your desktop now, do you see that folder?
Yes, I can see the code.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, great. Everything looks good. Anybody else having trouble getting the folder onto their desktop?
Thank you so much.
You can stop sharing your screen now, please. Thank you. Great. Looks like most people are ready to go, but there's still a couple of people who are having trouble. Would anybody else like to tell me what the problem is that they're having? I'm going to need to hand it over to Marie so that she can start teaching you through the lesson shortly. But there's still a couple more minutes now if anyone's still having trouble downloading and saving that.
My name is Marie Idro, and you can. How we're going to approach this workshop is that we'll learn together, we'll ask questions, and sometimes we'll get so many errors. We should not panic, and we'll also take some breaks. Yeah, so we want this to be as interactive as possible. So you can use the green yes if you are going through the theory or practicals well. If you're having issues, you can put the no as the cross, just like the way you put thumbs up or use a lot of emoji. And if you do not understand something, you can just ask in the chat. We'll be there to assist you, sorry. So for us to start, I would like us to keep in mind that this is all about advanced technology and how we are using laptops to better face our data analysis. As we are generating more data, we are not able to handle the data manually the way we usually do. So the best way that human interact with computer was we were using the graphical user interface, and it's giving us a lot of issues, like we should sit in front of the laptop to do most of the tasks on our own. But now that we have the command line interface that we can use via the shell, we should actually learn the language, the vocabulary that the shell uses, and which is the command lines that we can use through the shell. And to introduce us to the shell, can someone kindly type in the chat what's a command line? What do you think is a command line and how it can help? Just type anything, there's no wrong answer. Okay, Isaac said it's a set of instruction for the computer. All right, yeah, thank you so much. Any other answer? Right, so proceed with that, but kindly we want this to be as interactive as possible so that we learn together. Also here to learn, we're all learning together, okay? Access operating system, software test based on interface, okay. Yeah, wonderful. These are wonderful answers. And yes, instead of pressing on our phones, the keyboard and all, command lines are the way that we interact with the operating system, with computers, to give them tasks that they can perform, sometimes even when we are not even there. So, amazing. So the shell is a program that users use to type command to perform several tasks at once, and it saves them time. It allows us to interact with computers via the terminal, and that's why it's called command line interface. It's not a graphical user interface. And can you give me one example of graphical user interface and command line interface in the chat to make this? Okay, bash for CRL and for GUI for the graphical user interface. Right, I guess we shall proceed. So a shell is a program whose primary purpose is to read commands and run other programs. And in this lesson, we'll be using Bash, the default shell in many implementation of Unix. And this program can be run in Bash by entering commands at the command line prompt. And the shell main advantage is that it's higher in action to keystroke creation, like performing so many tasks as the users is actually doing other things. So I would share my terminal. I hope you all have your data downloaded on your desktop, or sort of just put your thumbs up or use the green yes emoji to ensure me that you have your data downloaded, as I am going to share my terminal now. Are you able to see my terminal? Is it visible enough, or I should increase the font? Sure, thank you, Toby. Yeah, we can use the thumbs up.
You could make it a little bit bigger, I think, please.
All right,
Just
is
yeah,
this enough?
that's great. Yeah.
All right, just 1 minute as I set myself up here. All right, kindly confirm that you have your terminal open. Or you can go to your search bar on your laptop and you type CMD. For those who do not have the, all right, NITheCS terminal is open.
Marie, it looks like in the chat there's a few Windows users who haven't got the bash shell set up, downloaded and installed before the workshop. I've just shared the instructions in the Zoom chat, but this might be, I know we haven't really got started yet, so this would be a little frustrating, but it might be a good idea for us to take a short break now to give those folks a chance to follow those instructions and make sure they're ready to follow along as well.
All right, sure. Should we take a 15-minute break, or how long do you think this break should be?
Let's try 10 minutes and see how the Windows users are getting on. After that, I'll stick around and try to answer people's questions in the chat during this break. But I guess maybe,
right.
Well, it's 9 minutes past now, so should we say 11 minutes and we come back at 20 past?
All right, 20 past, that works. Let me just guess we all now have our terminal open. Just a quick reminder, we'll just ensure each other that we have our terminal open and see thumbs up in the chat or something like that. Are you able to hear me? Am I audible enough? Okay, I shall start then. So as you open your terminal, you want to make sure that you reduce noises and have a tidy prompt. And for you to do that, you should type the command. You should type the command PS1 equal to the $ in a code like a string. Let me just type it in the chat because my prompt is already. Just type it in the chat. Equal to. Sorry. So just send it in the chat so that you are able to be working from your prompt and you reduce noises. So before we start, just confirm that you all managed to get your data and all required softwares. As our terminal is open, we want to check where we're actually working from. And there's one command that can do that for us is to print our working directory. As we go, we'll explain what a working directory is and everything will be clear for now. We can kindly type pwd to check where we're working. My home directory is home Mari1. Did you all print your home directory? As we want to follow along, Kindly thumbs up so that I know I'm not alone. Hello, are we together? All right. Melo is saying yes. Adila is saying yes. Okay, so we shall proceed now. This is our home directory. We want to see what is in our home directory. The output from what is in your home directory can be different from mine and from others. It doesn't matter. But the command that we will be using for that is ls. So you can kindly type ls, small letters. Do not type capital letters, as it will give us some error message. But it's also good to get error message. So yeah, so this is what is in my home directory. And I hope you all managed to get that. Should you get error message, kindly type in the chat. We will assist you. So just in case if the shell can't find a program whose name is like the command you have errors, it can be typing errors, or it can be that the program is not installed at all. Yeah. So as we have our terminal, we have everything ready. I would like to take us through the reason why we are actually here today. So we are here because we want to solve a problem. We want to see how the command line interface can actually help us to work without being on our screen every time. And for that, we need a working data, we need the data sets. So we'll be solving the NEL pipeline problem. So you may be asking, who is NEL? So NEL is marine biologist, and she collected so many data, like 1,520 data during 6 months. And she need to analyze her data. And at the same time, she need to be writing her thesis. So she ran those samples and got so many outputs and up to 300 proteins. And now what do we want Nell to do? Do we want her to use the graphical user interface or a command line interface? As she also need to be writing her thesis, because after research, you need to submit your paper for data dissemination or information dissemination. What do you think Nell should use? Should she use the graphical user interface or a command line interface? Isaac, you're saying kindly go over that. Amazing, this doesn't feel right. Let me just see your screenshots. Isaac, could you kindly elaborate? Do you want me to go through the way I open I list the content of the working directory? Just you can type it. Okay, there's nothing in her. Okay, yeah, sure. So that should be fine. Isaac, are you all right? Maybe you can elaborate what you want me to go over. This feels right. So I'll proceed. So what do you think she should do? Can she use the graphical user interface or the command line interface? Just keep in mind that she should be doing that analysis in writing her thesis. How can I set my working directory to my downloads? Okay. Mhm. I guess Toby is trying to assist you in the chat. For those who are not having anything in their directory, when we get there and we'll be using the data, we'll show you how to navigate and bring your informations and your folders on your terminal. Is that fine? For now, kindly, are we together? What do you think Neo should use? Because that's how we decide what's command to run and how to move forward. If I'm not clear, kindly notify me so that I can repeat the question. Hello, guys. What do you think Neo should use? Okay, so we're saying that Neo is a marine biologist and she collected around 2,000 data during 6 months, and she needs to do her data analysis. And at the same time, she needs to be writing her thesis. Do you think she should use a graphical user interface or a command line interface? And she's one person. So what do you think she should use? Polite as to repeat the question. So there you go. All right, great. Okay. She collected 2,000 data. Like, let's say someone go on the field, collect samples, 2,000 samples, you come back in the lab, you sequence all those 2,000 samples. They are not files. So I see Chimaroke, sorry for the pronunciation, is saying we should use a command line interface. So yes, we should use the command line interface because she needs to run the sample through an imaginary program, and she can't do it with graphical user interface. And she also needs to be writing her thesis. So let's see the advantage if she use the other one or the other one. She can use both in different tasks. Exactly, she can use both, but she needs to be doing other things because she can't consistently be in front of her terminal. So she needs a command line interface. So to solve that, if she's using a graphical user interface, she should select and open all the files 1,520 times. And if we say to open one file should be 30 seconds, then she will need 12 hours in front of her screen. If she's using command line, she can assign the task to the computer by running a script and something like that without being there, and it will do all the repetitive tasks for all the samples, and she can be that side writing her thesis. Are we together up to there? So she needs to use the shell then. And for us to be able to do what Neo will do, she will use the shell to do her data analysis. So she needs to know how to navigate to files and directories. I see some of us were asking, there's nothing in my working directory. How can I move my files to my terminal and things like that? So she needs to be doing that. She needs to know how to create files and directories. As she'll be analyzing data, she will need to store some of the information or the new data generated or analyzed data in new directories. She also needs to check the length of her files, just in case she makes some mistake or some files are empty and things like that. She needs to be able to retrieve a set of files, just in case she mistakenly renamed something else. She needs to be able to run a shell script containing her pipeline. Are we together up to there as we are now about to start to work as Neo? All right. Thank you, Leona. So we will start by like learning together how to navigate files and directories. And for us to do that, we first want to know how can we move around on the computer? How can we see what files and directory we have? How can we specify locations of file or directory in our computer? So at the end of this short module, we'll be able to explain similarities and differences between files and directory and many other things. So we said that there is one command that allows us to see our current our working directory. So can someone type it in the chat? I just spoke about it. What command do we use to print our working directory? Nice, amazing. You guys are amazing. So yeah, it's pwd. So pwd. This is my home directory. You do have yours. So here the computer responds as my home directory is home Marie, which is Marie's home directory. To understand what a home directory is, let's have a look at how the file system as a whole is organized. For the sake of this example, we'll be illustrating the file system on our now example computer or my computer. And you can think about the organization of files in directory as an upside down tree. It's like you put a tree, you hold it by the roots and you twist it down. I hope that's a good example to illustrate. So the top button directory is the root directory that holds everything else, like the branches of the tree. And we refer to it using slash character, like this, the normal slash character on its own. This character is the leading slash, in, as you see, it's the slash home slash Marie. Inside that directory, the home directory, there are other several directories that you'll see. So for us to see the other several directories that are inside my working directory, we'll type the ls command, and you can see there is desktop, HPV, instructor folder. And I think for you, some of you may not have anything in their home directory, and that's all right for now. So the command ls prints the name of the file in directories in our current directory. We can make it output more comprehensive by using many options. What we mean by option is, as you are using command line, there are several options that you can use to visualize what you actually wanted to add outputs. Later on, we will learn how to find those different options by a command called man. So for example, if we want to see more option, we can use one of the options, ls-f. And you can see that it follows all directory by the slash character. Are we all getting the same thing? Are we together? Maybe just a quick round of thumbs up. Are we together? Maybe a quick round of thumbs up so that I am not moving alone. And if I'm too quick, kindly you're allowed to slow me down. Great. Thank you. So as we type so many things on our terminal, pwd, ls-f, and all. So we want to make our terminal clean. We want to clear it. We want to erase everything that we did so that we have more space to type more commands. So the command to do that is clear, or you can do Ctrl-L on your keyboard to clear our commands. There's something in the chat. Chimaroke, sorry if I pronounce your name right. You say I really can't interpret why mine look different. What do you mean yours look different? Is that your terminal, the output of your the list of files in your working directory? You can type in the chat so that we can assist you. The list of files. What do you mean it looked different? Maybe you can send out a screenshot, or you do not have anything in the working directory, and that's perfectly fine. So we just clear our screen, and some of us are getting something in the chat. Some of us are getting errors and there's nothing in the chat. For those who are getting errors, when you type a command, there's a way that you can ask for help to understand the error message that you are getting. And the way to do is just to put the help, you put ls-help so that you know the different option when and how to use different options of a command. You can also use man ls, and we'll elaborate more on this later. Again, I am going to clear my screen. So let's say we want to move into the exercise data directory. We saw above, we can use the following series of commands, and now I'll show you how to bring your data into your terminal. Yes, I have a similar issue. I saw so many files folders in my working directory, but I've cleared it. Yeah, so it's all right if you have so many files in your working directory. It means that you have been working there. It means that you generated those files, and that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. You just cleared them. That's great. So we want to navigate into our download on our computer and bring the files that we downloaded. So kindly follow along. CT. Kindly follow along. Okay. Let me just share my screen again. I hope we are together. CTC. Where is my parenting settings? Marie. Yes. City desktop. Right. So this is how we navigate onto our desktop. So are we all there? Done. Okay. Okay. So are we all here? Just kindly put thumbs up. I have my data already on my terminal, so I'll put the command here. Let's say I want to copy response to, let's say I want to copy wet lab. So I'll be using cp -r I'll explain why I'm using all these commands when we get to the point. So we want to put it in our home directory. So yeah. Okay. So we now want to go back to our home directory. And if I put ls, we can all see that wet lab, the directory wet lab is now here. But that's me because I already have the shell data here. So just confirm with me if you manage to bring the data on your terminal. The chat is very quiet. Kindly notify me if you are able to now see your directory. Okay. So Chimaroke, you said that you are clearly lost. Maybe we can start again and go slowly. Your terminal is open and you are in your working directory. So you type this command, cd/mnt. We want to navigate to your laptop to bring the files or the folders that you downloaded for this workshop on your terminal in order for us to proceed. So you may want to type this. I just put it in the chat. I did say no search file directory. Okay. So kindly put cd/mnt and okay, there's an option of auto completion using your tab. So you press tab and it's bring the next slash for you. We are getting no search of file of directory because something is probably wrong, typing error or more space than required. Is it working out now? Let me go back to my terminal. So because most people are lost. Let me clear. So we are in our working directory. These are the things that are in my working directory. So we type cd/mnt. You click on tab to autocomplete. Are we all together? I'm getting the same issue. So Maria, the data file you said you ready to say. So yeah.
I think this might be a difference between the file systems depending on how you're working in Bash. So the desktop should be in desktop folders should be in people's home folders. And so maybe we can type CD and press enter. So CD and nothing else to move to the home directory, and then try CD desktop to see if people can move into their desktops from there.
Is it now working for everyone? I'm getting the same issue. Bash, no search file or directory. Okay, Toby, do you mind assisting me on this? Try running search without any folder. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me just give a minute to everyone to get to the same page. Yeah, I just wait a minute. I just need us to all be in desktop. So from there it will be amazing. Be able to move forward. Still getting the no search file or directory prompts. I'm not sure, are you writing the desktop the way it's supposed to be? So at this point. Great, good option. How is it going? I'm trying to open my GitHub so that I can see why we are all getting error messages. So Chimaroke, you are getting okay. User Chima desktop. So you may want to put the desktop exactly as it is, because I see it's capital D, capital E, and case. Just try that. Because my gate is also opening, I'm not facing the same challenge.
Okay, so it seems like the common problem is that a lot of the Windows users have this OneDrive set up, and the desktop folder is stored inside that OneDrive folder. And so if you've got to your home directory and running cd desktop gives you this error, no such file or directory, please try running cd OneDrive first. You need to have an uppercase O and an uppercase D, and then try, after you've run that, if you don't get an error from that, then try running cd desktop and see if it works that time. Okay, Isaac. To repeat, if you run cd and press enter, then that should ensure that you're in your home directory, because cd without any other information will take you home, will take you to your home directory. And then after you've run cd on its own, so that I know that you're in your home directory, try running cd OneDrive. I'll type this into the Zoom chat, cd OneDrive. And if you don't get an error message from that, then you can run cd desktop and hopefully it will work that time. If you've tried that and you're still receiving errors, then please let us know what the errors say in the chat so that I can keep trying to help you. And then to everyone whose desktop is in the OneDrive folder, when Marie is running commands that involve like moving between different locations in the file system, anytime that she changes directory, we use this word directory. It's a kind of another word for the same thing as a folder. And I'm sorry if it's confusing that these things get used interchangeably. But if you hear the word directory, but you're more used to thinking about folders, please just think of them as folders. It's the same thing. But when Marie is moving into a location within this desktop, you will need to remember to also add OneDrive before desktop, OneDrive and a / before desktop, because otherwise you're going to keep seeing this error. All right, Isaac, so you got cd OneDrive and that worked, but then cd desktop still says no such file or directory. All right, who's the host? Alawani, you're the host. Could you put Isaac and me in a breakout room so that we can talk more about how to solve this problem, please?
In as Isaac and Toby sorting this out, are we good to go with like the remaining? Is it Isaac only, or is fine for all of us? Can we proceed? I'm expecting the same problem. So Siko as well might want to go to the breakout room. So maybe you can give me a thumbs up for those who managed to navigate into the desktop directory or folders on the terminal. Just give a thumbs up for those of us who are now in the desktop directory. Okay, Chima, okay. Who else is in the desktop? Okay, two. Who else?
I think in the chat, I was helping some people get into the shell lesson data directory. Marie, sorry if that's confused things.
All right, that's all right. But okay, for people, I think for the meantime, I'll try to proceed with those who are in the desktop directory. I hope that's all right. So yeah, thank you, Toby, for helping us going through that. In the meantime, as some of us are in the desktop directory, we will try to proceed, and when the our colleagues are done, they will try to catch up with us, and we will manage together. So nice. So let's say we want to move into the exercise data directory. We can use the following command. We can use cd. We can use cd shell autocomplete. And it's when you type on tab, you start in writing a name of a folder, and you type on tab. You press tab on your keyboard. It should autocomplete for you if the directory exists in desktop. So I auto-completed in NITheCS. So I'm now in shell lesson data. Let's see what is inside shell lesson data by typing ls, and we can see there is exercise data in North Pacific, something, right? So you want to get into exercise data by changing directory into exercise data. So change directory, exercise, and then auto complete exercise data, right? So we are now here. Yes, Toby, you want to say something?
And I'm using all of the
Yes.
We cannot see your screen.
The screen is not here.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I should just share again. Are you now able to see my screen?
No, but it's not updating since you started. We could not see any of the things that you were doing.
Okay. Let me stop and share again. Sorry for that. Share screen. Is it now fine? I will restart over. Okay. Step up. Are you able to see now my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just screen. Okay, so we are on the desktop. So let's say we want to navigate into the shell lesson data folder or desktop. So we will change directory into shell and autocomplete by typing tab. And then we are in shell lesson data. And let's see what is inside shell lesson by typing ls. So we have exercise data in North Pacific something. then we want to move into exercise data. So we change directory again to exercise and data, right? So we are there. Are we all there in exercise data? You can use thumbs up. Kindly thumbs up if you are now in exercise data. Okay, Chima, okay, you are in exercise data. Who else? Is he alone? Are we alone? Are we only two in this exercise data directory? Okay, wonderful. So these commands will move us into the exercise data, right? So we are all there now. And if we run PWD, our working directory is now different. You all confirm that our working directory is now exercise data. And so if we want to get more option in what is listed inside this directory, we can type the ls-f option. And we have our counts, animal counts, a lot of other subdirectories. So directory and another directory is a subdirectory. So we have many other subdirectories. Did anyone get an error message after CD into exercise data? Okay, we are all good. Okay. So if we have special directories, some directories are hidden or will not show when we type ls-f. So to show special directories, we can type, we can add another option to ls-f, which is ls-f -a. And if we want more information about those options, what they do, we can type man ls. So for now, let's run ls-f, and we add another option, which is -a. So -a stands for show all including hidden files. So all the directory that we're not showing when we type ls-f will now show. So let's see what we get. CD. Yes, so we have some hidden directories. As you can see, there's // and those were not there when we typed the ls-f command. And as you can also see, it displays many other directories. And we should note that it's in most command line tools, multiple options can be combined with a single dash and no space between the options, like ls-f -a is also equivalent to when you type ls-f like this. It should give you the same thing. Are we together? So maybe we can move to the next step. Yes, someone is speaking. So you will see that when I was trying to navigate into the home directory from my computer, I was using the tilde character. So if you put tilde like this, let's say I want to go back to my home directory, this is just a parenthesis, I'll close it later. I put CD like this, it will take me to my home directory. So the tilde stands for home directory. So so let's say that you did not move from your directory, your exercise data directory. Let me navigate there quickly. Shell. So size is. So if you try to navigate to shell lesson from your home directory, you should look like this. Desktop, shell data. Sorry, I'm getting an error message. And desktop shell lesson easy directory. Yeah, that's all right. So let me just navigate straight away. Who is getting the same thing like me? Shell exercise. Did anyone get the same error message like me as I was demonstrating the tilde, how the tilde mean the home directory? Something in the chat. I hope I'm not alone. So we will proceed. So let's say we want to see what's inside the exercise data. We'll type ls, we have this. Let's say we want to get into the creature directory. So we will change directory into creature autocomplete. So now we know that we can use cd to move across different directory, and the tilde character it means the home directory. We can use ls and many other options to list content of our directory based on what information we want to see. Do we want to see hidden directory, and do we want to see other special directories? And also pwd will print our working directory. And by saying that, let us print our home directory, working directory, our working directory, and see what we get. So our working directory currently is creature. Do we all have this working directory? If yes, you can put thumbs up so that we know we are following along. Kindly, is anyone lost? Are we together? Thumbs up so that we, okay. We are together then. Great. So now you might be asking yourself, we type cd and moving into different directory. Now we are, I think, 1, 2, 3 step directory far away from our home directory. What if we want to do something in our home directory as we are still in our working directory? So there's something that we called relative paths and absolute paths. So it's a way of getting into your home directory or getting into other directory as you are in your working directory, right? So let me get a good example of how this is done. Okay. So let's say we want to go and collect something from our home directory. I will just give a basic something, an example. For a relative path, we'll be using this. So we put our home directory by the tilde. It's like the relative part is it is shortcuts. So in the home directory, where do we want to go? We want to go to desktop, and we want to go to shell data, right? So if we use this relative part, it's going to take us, oh, sorry, it's a mistake. Wait up. Which lab to the current directory. Oh, sorry. Yes. So I was just trying to copy a wet lab directory that was in my home directory. So you can see that I used this tilde instead of putting all the home, marijuana, desktop, and wet lab. So it's a sort of shortcut. So now if I want to use the absolute part, I'll have to do cp minus r home. Sorry. Home stop. Wait. Okay. Something is actually wrong. Anyway, did we all manage to see the relevance of using a relative path? I'm not sure. So, we type in instead of L. Did we all manage to see a relevance of a relative path? We can go through it again if we are not together. You can put thumbs up or again, please. Okay, that's all right. Okay. Shall I say again, please? So I'm going to remove this weights lab directory from here. So we are in creator, right? So we want to copy, let me move into exercise data actually. Yes, we want to copy a directory from our home directory, but we do not want to type home Marie1 or home the user, as for now our working directory is all this. So for us to copy something from our home directory, we're supposed to write all this, which is long actually. So there's a shortcut that we can use for it, and we can copy. CP is for copy, and we will learn it later, and all the options that it can take. So CP minus R is to copy the content of a directory. So in my home directory, I want to copy wet lab. So I'm just going to put the tilde and then I'll put wet lab, right? So if I click enter, if I run this command, wet lab is going to come under exercise data without me putting the long home Marie desktop and everything else. So missing destination file, sorry. So I forgot to put that I want to put in the current directory, and dot stand for current directory. So now we can see via ls that wet lab is actually now under exercise data. Is it now fine? Let me see in the chat. Okay, or shall I see you are now fine? So anyone else who did not manage to follow along so that we can move to the next path? The difference, the relevance of using a relative path, like how do you do something in your home directory without putting the whole absolute path, like home users and the directories? Are we together? I can only see thumbs up from Oshola. What does the dot stand for current directory in this case? Sorry, someone was speaking.
I'm saying I cannot get the wet lab from my home directory. It says no
Exactly,
such.
exactly. It's because that's in my directory. I was just
Okay, yeah, that's
demonstrating.
like, okay, I was
Yeah.
wondering whether
Yeah,
don't have.
sure. Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah, that's completely correct. This is to illustrate. Sorry. So yes, I'm so this sort of current location. Okay. So I guess we should move forward. So I'm just going to explain the general sentence of a shell command. So if I type ls, let me go back to my prompt like this. So if I type ls minus f and slash, the $sign here is the prompt. The command here is ls, and minus f is an option, and slash is an argument. So sometimes you can use shortcut like the tilde, the dot for current directory, the tilde for your home directory. And yes, at the beginning it may sound somehow confusing, and we are all still getting used to it, but it comes as we practice more. So now we need to start working as Nell, and I want all of us to confirm with me that We are under exercise data. Let me go there quickly. Shell exercise and then ls. Sit down, step back. Yes. Okay. So just to make sure that you are now in shell listen data, but you can use CD, like change it and then across. We are now in shell listen data, and we want to see what is inside shell listen data. Let me clear my terminal. If I put ls, we can see there's exercise data and not participate something. Right. So if you put the ls command, the name of this directory is too long. So we could also say ls and use the autocomplete, and it will complete it for us. I hope we all managed to get what is inside the North Pacific. This one. There are so many files. I hope we all managed to get it that way. So the key point under these submodules that we are now able to go from directories to another directory. We can actually work as we are in our working directory. We can actually copy something from our home directory without actually put the whole absolute path. We can use the relative path, and ls can have so many options based on the output that we want to see. And most commands take option that begins with is it minus sign or a dash? Yeah. So directory names in a path are separated with a slash on Unix, but on a / on Windows. And a slash, a normal slash on its own is the root directory of a whole file system. And an absolute path specifies a location from the root of the file system. As I said, you have to put the /home /users / the directory where you actually want to go from your working directory. And a relative path specify a location starting from the current directory, as you can use the tilde directory to mean that you want to bring something from your home directory, and dot stand for current directory. So now we want to see how we can work with files and directories. Now that we know how to navigate into files and directory, we want to know what more can we do with our directories and files. How can we create, copy and delete files in directory, and how can we as well edit files, because sometimes we want to add more information to our files. So, sorry, let's again once put pwd, and this is our working directory. So if we put ls -f, just what we learned before, we have these two directory underneath. So let us navigate under exercise data and ls. Okay, we shall also navigate into the writing directory. And if we type ls -f, we shall see orders, hey God, late woman, or something. I hope we are all there, or I lost everyone else on my way. Okay, I shall proceed. So now we want to learn how to create a directory. Let's create a new directory called NITheCS using the command mkdir, which means make directory. So we put make directory and we add the name of the directory we want to create. So make directory, and we want it to be called, this is like this. I put capital T because I created it this is before. So just kindly follow along. So if I put ls now, I have thesis, the directory thesis thing. So if I put ls minus f, there's nothing in this directory because it didn't bring me anything. So that's perfectly fine. Are we together up to this point? Did we all? Oh, too fast. Okay. So let me just start again. Let me go a step back. So we were in shell lesson data and we wanted to create a new directory. First, let us see what is inside this. Okay, we want to create a directory under writings, and we know writing is 2 directory step down. So let us go there. CD exercise and ls. What is there? There is this writing, right? So CD writing, right? So we are now in writing. So ls, this is what is in writing. Are we all in this directory? Output of everything files and folders. Is there anything? Yeah. Are we now together? Are we all in this writing directory? Okay. Okay, we're now in this. Okay. So we want to create a new directory under this directory. We want to create a subdirectory by using the command make directory thesis, but I won't create it again because I created it before. So we put make directory thesis and we click enter. And when we put ls, we should be able to see the newly created directory thesis under writings. So let me check in the charts. Did we all manage to do that successfully? Okay, so we all managed to do that successfully. Now let us move forward. So I just want to make a point that using the make directory command is not limited to creating single directory one at a time. We have several options like the -p option that can allow make directory to create a directory with nested subdirectory in a single operation. So for example, if we want to create another directory called result in data under projects, we can put make directory -p and it's a 2-step forward. When I put dash, it's like I'm going one step ahead of the directory that I'm working in. Project. Okay, what's up? P.
Hi, Mary.
Let's just
Could you please scroll up your screen? I think you have filled up your terminal, so we can't see what you.
okay, let me just clean my screen. So we just previously created this directory, right? And we all have the directory now created. So I was saying that make directory can also help you to create several directory at once. So there are many ways of doing the same thing. And as I was saying, is practicing and doing it several times that get us used to it. So yeah. And as you are creating directories or you want to create a file or get there, you should not put space between the names. Thesis was simple enough, but if we wanted to put sequencing data or sequencing data output or trimming and trimming data, those names becomes long. And if we put space, it's not going to work. So let us see how we can actually create a file under our directory that we created, the thesis directory, right? So let us change directory into thesis, right? We are now into thesis, and as you can see, there is absolutely nothing under thesis. So for us to create a file, we need to use a text editor, and there is an inbuilt text editor that we can use. It's called Nano. There are other text editor called Vim and other text editors, but for now in this workshop we'll be using Nano. So you put Nano and then you put the name of the file that you want to create. So I'm going to type Nano, and let us, what name can we give it? Let us call it drafts.txt, right? So when we click this, it's going to open us somewhere we can write tests, and we can actually save, edit, and visualize later, right? So if we put enter, it opens a text editor where we can actually type something. So yeah. So let's see what we can write here in our text editor. What would you like to write? If this is your first time using a text editor, you can put this is my first time using a text editor. If this is not a data that you want everyone to see, this is a data that is private to me, but I am going to put this is not a published version, right? Anymore. So I have something in my text editor that I want to save. I want to keep it under this file, right? So you should save your file. You can see there are many options down here. You have help, assets, write out, read files, where is replace. All those options are very, very important. So once you are happy with your test, you can press Ctrl-O or Ctrl, you hold or Ctrl key, and then you press O. So let's just say Ctrl this, and then we want to S8, right? So we want to do Control S. Sorry, just to make some mistake. Control S. So, so my apologies, I got put it out and stop sharing. Let me share again. Yeah, so when you are happy with what you want to write into your files, then you can put Ctrl-O, you save it, and then you put enter, and then Ctrl-S, then you close it. Ctrl-O, enter, and then Ctrl-S. Did we all manage to successfully create this file? Oh, okay, very good. Okay. See, the chat is very quiet. Did you all manage to create the first file, draft.txt?
It's not saving. Mine is not saving.
Okay, so you just share with me the steps that you're using. After you are done type in the test, then you put Ctrl-O, enter.
This is Ctrl-A and enter. Ctrl-O, enter.
Did that work for you?
Nothing pops up because I saw in the screen something popped up, but in my case, nothing pops up.
Okay, let me go through it with you again. So I'm going to try to create a new test by putting capital D, drafts.tst. Did you manage to create your file? I can't hear you. Are you?
Yes, I've managed, I've typed, but I can't save the file.
All right.
And
So is it giving you some kind of error? Because when you put Control O, it's going to ask you, do you want to save it in this name, right? It's called draft.tst. Then you click enter, right? After that, you put Control X. Let me type in the chat.
with Control All, like A.
I'm just typing for you, Control O, or like this, the first one, and then you put enter. You click enter, then you put Control X like this. Is it working? Yeah, Kisha was trying to assist you.
Control O. Okay.
Is it now working?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Oh, you're welcome. So now that we all managed to create our file, we want to see how we can create a file in a different way. It's not, we can use other ways, like instead of using nano, we can use touch. And what did the touch command do? So I'm just going to put it, then you do it and you tell me what it did so that we can move. So let's say we want to create a new file called, you can put your name. I'm going to put marie.tst, later marie.tst, right? And if we put ls, we can see that we have a new file called marie.tst. Did you all manage to do that? And we will tell each other the difference of when you use nano and we now use touch. Let me see in the chat. Yeah, so, okay, you all managed to create it. So the difference between when you use Nano and Touch, Nano is a text editor. It allows you to directly open a file, you name it, you put what you want to put, then you save it. But Touch is like you just create a file and there's nothing in the file. And for us to know there's nothing in our file, we want to check the size of the file. So for us to do that, there's very So if we all manage to create the new file with Touch, and if it's now clear that when you use Nano, it's like you are using a text editor, you can actually type directly a text into your file, in your new file, and Touch only creates you a file. It will actually be empty. And for us to check that, we should use the ls-l command. If that's all right for all of us, I think it's time for us to go take some sip of juice of water or some coffee. So we're going to be having a short break of 15 minutes. And when we come back, we will be learning how to move files in directory, as now we know how to create files in directory. Is that all right? Do we have any questions so far? Okay, so if you want to put the tilde, you press Control, and there's a tilde key on your keyboard, on your laptop keyboard. So you press Control and tilde. Let me just put it here. Control plus. Sorry, it's actually Shift. So put Shift plus tilde, like this. I'm correct to say that Nano Control plus O allow you to write. Yes, you are very right. Into the Nano. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Lushula. So do we have any further concern about creating directory and files and checking files size? Otherwise, let us take a quick break. So we'll be taking a 15-minute break. So we shall come back at, let's say 15 past, if that's all right. So I guess it's time's up. Are we all back? Can we proceed?
Hi, Mary. Sorry, just a quick question before we begin. I
Sure.
had the misfortune of just exiting my terminal. I wanted to find out, is there a way of saving your input and output from the terminal so that you can resume
Is that
where you left
you
off?
mean when you okay, so I want to give 3 answers to that. So there is a way that you can recycle your commands. You can see my screen, right? So when you press the up and down arrow, you can be able to recycle your command. So when I click the up arrow, you see my commands are coming, right? Like this. So that's a way of recycling your command from your history. However, if you mean when you type commands, how can you save them and keep them in a file so that when you come, you are able to open it? It's called redirecting your commands output into a file, and we are going to go. So I was asking if I managed to answer your question.
Hi, Mary. Sorry, we
remember.
lost you a little bit. We lost you a little bit, I think, for the greater part of.
Right. So I was saying, all right. So I was saying that I will give 2 answers to that question. So if you mean that when you close, you exit your terminal, you come back, how do you recycle your commands? Then you can use the up arrow of your keyboard, just like what I'm doing. You see that the commands that I ran before are now coming, and I can run them again without retyping them, and I get the same output.
Mhm.
However, if you want to save the output of your command into a file, so that when you come back, you do not have to do the same thing again, then it's something that is called redirecting the output of your command into a file, and we are going to go through it later. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So I had closed my terminal and I'm trying to recycle whatever was it only allows me to, it's recycling stuff from the current session, not the previous one.
Okay, what's your PWD printing?
It was actually printing the OneDrive.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I guess you should put the CD OneDrive/desktop so that we can together CD into the current working directory. Can you do that?
Yes, yes, sure.
Did you manage? Is it now all right?
Yes, I'm in now.
All right. So your current directory should be desktop something in thesis.
I haven't gotten to
In
thesis.
thesis?
Let me get to thesis. But I think you can proceed.
All right, sure.
Whilst I catch up.
So all right. So just let us know if you run into some other issues so that we can assist. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great break. I ate avocados and breads. I hope you all got something to eat. So as we were in the thesis directory, now we want to go a step back to the directory writing. So for us to go a step up without doing CD and put the name of the directory where we are going, we can CD and ... So ... is like you are going a directory up. So when we see the ... enter, we are now in writing, right? So now we want to learn how to move files in directories. And for us to do that, we know that in our thesis directory, we have a file called draft.txt, the one that we just created, which is not a particular informative name, but was just for illustration. So let's change the file name using the move mv command. So we know that let's see if we can move like this. This is draft.txt. And we want to change it into pods.txt like this. So we have an error. Cannot start no search file or directory. Can someone tell me why we're getting this error message? It's actually good to have it so that we can sort it out. It's in the chats. Yeah, let's see. Sorry, what do you mean by T question mark? And why do you think we're getting this error message? Maybe capital thesis. Oh, wonderful. So, for me, it's tricky because I have thesis small letter and I also have thesis capital letter. So it's because we are not in the directory. We are not in the thesis directory, I guess. So let me just troubleshoot that and see what I get. So you want to move, let me first ls. Oh, wow. Codes. CD. One step up, ls. Okay, CD. This is. It seems like maybe I did mine before. So I actually have the codes.txt. That's why I'm getting this error. But did any of you, did this command work for any of you? Kindly communicate, still doesn't, yes. Okay, it's work for Charlene. Still doesn't work. So which directory are you working for? What's your current working directory? Just type working directory. It's in the charts. It works now. Okay. Where should we move to? Okay, so we are not moving it as taking it from somewhere to somewhere. Move, it's MV, that command, it allows us to change the name of the file as draft.txt. It doesn't mean anything. So we want to change the name into quotes.txt. So now if you type ls thesis, we should see quote.txt instead of draft.txt. Olushola, is it all right? Are you? So ls is code.txt, right? So one must be careful when specifying the target file name, since the mv command will overwrite any existing file with the same name, which could lead to data loss. Like you may lose potential data. And by default, move will not ask you to confirm if you want to overwrite or not. It will just overwrite and change the name and everything, right? So are we together so that we can proceed? Yes, so it works. So let us go a step back into the writing that directory. Ls, we are now here. So we are in writing, but we want to bring the code.txt from thesis into this current working directory. So I'm just going to put the command and then we can ask questions if we have questions. So we said that, so we want to move the file in thesis, and the file is pod codes. We want to move it into the current directory, and we say that current directory is dot, right? So if we now do ls, we now have code.txt into our writing directory. So is it all right? Sorry, I missed this when I stepped out of it. That was totally okay. So did we all manage to bring the thesis, the code.txt that we rename in thesis into our writing directory? Did it work for all of us? You can put thumbs up if you now have code.txt under your writing directory. Or shall I say yes? Who else? Are we all following along? Are we together?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm still trying to move my thesis to, is it renaming or moving draft into codes? And it says,
Okay, so are you in the,
I'm in my thesis directory.
So you put move. I'm typing the command so that you can follow along. So you want to move drafts.txt into codes.txt. Is it fine now?
Yes. Oh,
When you
thank
now type ls in thesis, you only have codes.txt.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, now you may type a move thesis codes into the current directory, like this command, the one that we previously ran. So let me check if there's something in this. Yes. Now, if you type ls under thesis, you won't see anything because you shifted the code.txt under writings. There is nothing left in thesis. All right, did anyone get error message so that we can trouble Sorry, I was booted out. So we were saying that now we want to know how to move files to a new folder. Let's say we have 2 or many other folders that we just realized that they were supposed to be in a completely separated folder. So let's see how we can do that. I really apologize for this. Booting out and in is not comfortable, but kindly bear with me. So let's say we are in CG ls. Where's that folder? It's organ secrets. Okay. Okay, so I have several thesis folders here, and I have several draft.thesis.txt. So let's say I want to put them in a completely different folder. So I will demonstrate and then we can follow along. CT writing. Yes. Okay, CT thesis. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Where did I put it? CT. Yes. Maybe show page. TST. TST. Okay. Control S. Let's wave. Yes, and now I've draft.txt. So we are in writings, and let's say we want to bring those files into thesis again. Remember, there's nothing in thesis, so we do move draft.txt. We want to put it into thesis, right? So now if we do see the thesis, we shall be able to ls, and there's again draft.ts. This is only to demonstrate how we can move those files to another folder, from one folder to another one. I hope it's clear for all of us. There's nothing in the chats. Hello, are we together or I'm going too fast? Are we lost? Kindly thumbs up if you are good. If you can now copy a file to another folder, and if you are not good, just notify so that we can troubleshoot together. Kindly thumbs up in the chats. Okay, it's very quiet. I hope I'm being audible.
We can hear you.
Okay, sure. So I shall proceed. So now let's learn a new command. Let's say we are working under writing directory, and we now want to bring some of our folders from writing in thesis. So it means that we want to copy files from one folder to another folder, right? So maybe we can try that with, we can try to copy code.txt into thesis again. So I'm in thesis, so I'm going to do cp from our home directory. We want to go to desktop, shell data, exercise. I hope We are right up to there. And writings, right? Yeah, and we want to copy codes.txt into our current directory and its thesis. So it works. Now, if we put ls, we can see that code.txt is back in thesis. Are we together? So that's how to copy a file. So if we want to copy a directory, let me see if we actually have a directory that we can move from the side. Yeah, let me make a directory. We can make a directory called data like this. And we want to move it on the thesis. So we shall less data. Okay, we shall cp. And when you want to copy a file and when you want to copy a directory is slightly different, because a file is a file, the content is direct. But if a folder, a directory, when you want to copy it, you use an option called -r, and that's the one that specifies you want to copy the content of that directory. So you want to do cp -r data, right? And we want to put it in, you want to use the tilde again, shell. Okay. Desktop shell exercise data, writings and thesis. That's where you want to put the new directory. So if we cd into thesis and we ls, we now have the data directory under thesis. Are we all clear about how to move files in directory? Okay, thank you, Charlene. Let me clear it straight away. Are we all clear about how to move file in directory, how to copy file in directory? If we are not clear, we can go through it again. Kindly notify in the chats. Please repeat. Okay, I will. So I was saying, we want to know how to copy files in directories, and we managed to copy a file, the code.txt, managed to copy it again from writing into thesis. Now we want to know how to copy a directory under another directory. And that directory, it was called data under writings. For me to copy it, I typed cp -r, and the reason for -r is because you want to notify you want to use the command line and say you are copying all the contents of that directory, and that directory was data. And I want to put it where? I want to put it here, desktop. I won't try to write things because I did it already. And then we put shell data, exercise, writing, then thesis, right? After you do this and you enter, you now type ls, you cd into thesis, you type, cd thesis, you now type ls, you'll see the new directory that you copy into this. If it's still not clear, I can create a new directory, then we move it together. But first to notify me that it's now clear, or I should repeat, or I should demonstrate again. Mokadi, you say it's not, I should repeat. Is it now clear for you? No, okay. So it's fine. Let me create a new directory city. Are you in the writings directory? So we'll make a new directory. I apologize, but to make it interactive, let's give it your name. I hope I write it right way. Oh, okay. Okay. So, so let's give it your name. We put lay, right? And if we do ls, we now have a new directory called lay underwritings. We want to right. So I'm restarting over again because yeah. ls. So we created a new directory called lay. I hope that's the right way of pronouncing the name. I'm sorry. Lay is now under writings and we want to move it under thesis. So we do cp -r because we want to copy the whole content of the directory. Where do we want to put it? We want to put it under desktop, shell, exercise, writing, thesis, right? So we click enter. Now let's navigate to thesis. And if we ls, lay should now be there. Our directory called lay is now under thesis. Is this, were you able to follow along? You can put thumbs up or you can say yes or no in the chat so that I know that you managed to follow along. Otherwise, I can type the commands in the chat for you so that you can execute them. You can run them. Hello? Were you able to follow along? Let me see if she's on the call. Seems like it's okay. So you're able to let's move forward. So suppose you create a plain text file in your current directory to contain a list of statistical tests you need to do to analyze your data, and maybe we name it statistics.txt, right? After creating and saving this file, maybe you realize that there is a spelling error and you want to correct the mistake. What set of commands do you think we can type to solve that? Sorry, you can type in the chat. What set of commands you think we can use for that? I am saying, let's say we create a text called statistic.txt and we want to rename it because we made a spelling error whilst we were renaming the file. We were giving a name to our file. What set of
Marie, I don't know if you're saying something, but your sound is muted at the moment, so we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. I was saying that we should navigate into the data directory under projects. So is CD desktop, shower lesson data, exercise data projects. Then we are now in the data directory. So you made CD into that directory. Your CD desktop, shower lesson, exercise data in projects.
Marie,
Yes, please.
please scroll up your screen because your thing it's full already, so we can't see your current. Sure, thank you.
Okay. I'm waiting to know that we are all in that directory, the project directory, so that we can work on under the data directory. So if you PWD, you should be having this path. So just confirm with me in the chat if you're now having this path to the data directory. Check. Okay, no project in exercise data from what we okay, that's all right. So let us proceed and use another type of illustration on how to move in copy files properly. Let me just figure out a good way to illustrate this. Okay, CG. Sorry. Just 1 minute as I'm trying to figure out the type of illustration we can use. Let's see what is in creature. I'm not sure I don't have a project directory. Did you create or it should be an original folder. It should be an original folder where most of the data are saved. I'm not sure. Toby, are you on the call?
Hi, Marie. I also
I'm not
can't
sure
see
why.
the
Yeah,
project.
sure, we'll figure that out. yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. Let me just ask Toby. Hello, Toby, are you on the call? Do you have any idea why the data folder is not in the
I think those were folders that were created in an example that you ran earlier that perhaps not everybody ran. In this section of the lesson. So this was after you ran the command to create the thesis folder. I think you also showed how to run make directories with the -p option to run this. And what that did was it created this project folder, and inside there, this data, a folder called data and another folder called results. You ran that inside the writing folder. So that created under exercise data, a folder called project, and then inside that one called data and one called results.
Yeah, so Toby, there should be a data folder under project, right?
Yeah, there should be. Yeah.
Okay. Mhm. Project. Yes. I think mine, I did some kind of overwriting. I can sort that out, but is everyone able to locate the data folder? Just let me know as I'm sorting mine out. I will just try to bring mine on the terminal.
I think if the folders are empty anyway, then it's not too late for people to create those folders if they need them now.
Sorry, Toby, come again?
If the data and results folders are empty at the moment, then anyone who doesn't have them yet can make the new directories, can create those directories now, and then they should be caught back up. I don't think there's anything else missing.
All right. So I think we can proceed, but I'm trying to look at the protein dot data, all the proteins data. That's what I'm not able to see. We can troubleshoot, we can create other directory and move on to the next particle. No, proteins location, okay. Yeah. Okay, it's not a big deal. So let us create a folder. As we can create a directory called data, then we create another folder somewhere else, maybe under writing Scott recombined or something, and then we can learn to move it. And, because the whole idea of this is to be able to move and copy directories. It's not something, So do we all have a directory data? Otherwise, we can type make directory data, and we go back under writings, then we create a new directory called recombined, then we can bring it under data. Just, the copy minus -r, and we are good to go. Is it clear for everyone? Just, you can do thumbs up so that we know if we are together. Let me clear my screen again. Kindly notify me if you're about to create a new directory and move it under data. If you do not have a data folder, you can create one. The idea behind this is to be able to move directories. The chat is very quiet. Are we together? Should we move to the next exercise, to the next practical? Kindly notify in the chats how far you are. Okay. Okay, I have something in the chat. Oh, it's fine. So are we all good like Leona? Leona is fine. Are we all on the same page so that we can move on to how to operate with multiple? Okay, I see everyone is happy. There are no complaints, so we'll move forward. Something in the chat. Have to. So we will move forward to our next. So as we are in our writing.data, let's move outside of that directory. We're already in writings. We should go to exercise data. Yeah, so let's make a new directory called, what can we call it? Called backup. Yes, cannot create file exists. Okay, so is anyone getting the same error with me so that we can explain the error message? Let us kindly communicate in the chats as we are almost at the end, no error, right? So it's because I created a directory before and it's called backup. So it's saying that the file already exists. So what I'm going to do is to create the same directory, but with a capital B like this. So I now have my directory backup. And yes, there's nothing in the backup directory. Just confirm that there is also nothing in your backup directory. No error. Okay. Someone is saying confirmed. Okay. So now let us see that we can copy some other files from another directory to this newly created directory. So first, let me try to locate ls cd this and ls, right? So if you navigate into the creator directory, you can see that we have 3 folders, and we want to copy this, I mean 3 files. We want to copy these 3 files under the new backup directory that we created. Can someone help me to see how we can copy that? We can copy all those files at once using the cp command, as we are now learning to see how we can copy several files together. So kindly type in the chat any idea of how we can copy those 3 files at once using the cp command. We want to copy the Basilic, miniature, and unicorn files into backup. Okay, so I'll just try to do it. So we'll do cp Basilic, miniature, and unicorn, like this, and we want to put it into backup. Where is backup? Backup is located under exercise data. Yes, so tilde desktop share exercise then we want backup like this. So when we enter, we now want to go to exercise data cd backup, and if we ls, our 3 files are now there. Do we all have these 3 files now on the backup? If I'm going too fast, kindly slow me down. It's been a long talk and a lot of commands, and kindly just bear with it. We are almost at the end. I'm waiting to see in the chat that we are together and we all have these 3 files in the folder. Okay, Charlene say yes. Who else managed to copy the files? And after this, we are sure that either it's a single file, it's a single folder, or multiple files. We are able to copy them wherever you want them to be. Who else managed to do that? I can't see thumbs up in the chat. I only got answers from Charlene. Am I alone with her? Did I lost anyone else? They lost everyone else. I'm waiting for. We have one more practicals to go. All right, Polite also managed to do that. How about others? Should I call names? I want to make sure that we all manage to go through this together. Is Pacom Stephen on the call? Yes, what error message did you get? Let me just try to open it. It's saying that targets backup is not a directory. All right. So did you manage to create the directory? You can unmute and speak. Should be right.
Yes, I was able
Honest-
to create the backup directory.
Okay, is your backup directory under exercise data?
Let me confirm that.
Sure.
I don't think so.
Okay, so maybe you might want to create one under exercise data.
Okay, okay. All right, done.
Is it fine now?
Yes. Thank you.
Do you now have your 3 files under backup?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So I want us to try something. I want us to try to use wildcards like stars and dots data to list files under our directory. So if we do ls star dot dat, we want to see what is bring us. So we are asking to list all the files that ends by .dat. So we have 3 files, the files that we just copied there. So if it was something .pdf, .pdb, you put stars.pdb, right? And it will list all this for you. So there are several wildcards. There is question mark, and is also a wildcard, but it's represent exactly one character. So if you want to ask if a file exists, then you can use question mark. So that's how you can list file names with the matching pattern. And what else can we cover today? Yeah. So if we do not have any further question, we are at the end of this session today, as it was notified in your email. We were supposed to finish since 13:00, but because of some technical issues and delays, we are a little bit late. I hope you managed to all learn something, and we can pick up from here. Tomorrow we will be covering pipes and filters and some advanced notion of how to combine multiple commands and how to run a script. As we write a bash script, then we leave it to run for several samples or several files, and we are doing other things in order to save time and be free of the terminal, as it's very stressful sometimes to be typing codes on the terminal. So can you kindly put thumbs up, or I don't know if you have any questions you can ask in this chat. Otherwise, we are sort of done for today.
Thank you, Mai.
You're welcome. All right. We'll wait for a few minutes to see if there are other challenges that we can solve. If someone didn't manage to do anything, then so that we are ready for tomorrow, and we do not go through the same thing as what happened today. Okay. All right. All right. You are welcome. Or let me see.